Yeah. Yeah. Can you believe they told me that I would never make it? Now we smiling in their faces, smiling in their faces.
All right, guys, if you're new to the channel, my name is Tyler Rose. This is Tyler Rose TV. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me, for watching and supporting. For today's video, we got something cool, but if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe and hit the bell so you can get notified when I drop another banger, because you know I'm dropping bangers, nothing but bangers. Anyhow, for today's video, we got Stephen A. Smith. He made his appearance again on the Gil's Arena, which is a podcast from former NBA player Gilbert Arenas, but this time he chimed in on why he has the late, great Kobe beneath LeBron. So if you haven't seen this clip, take a listen to this clip. And before you take a listen, make sure you stay tuned to hear what I got to say. Because everything he's saying, I'm going to explain to you why it didn't make sense, and I'm going to prove the details for you. But I ain't going to ruin it for you guys. Let's roll the clip, and let's get into today's video.
We look at Kobe. He's a 5-time champion. And you have a lot of people out there that put him ahead of LeBron because of that. I think Kobe was a killer, God rest his soul. The brother he'd be somebody that he'd give it to you. And not to say that he didn't play defense, because obviously, you know, in his prime, he was an elite defender. The flip side to it, however, is that when you're playing with Shaq and the rest of the crew, and then ultimately Gasol and Bynum and the rest of the crew, you had a crew. When you struggled, you really, really struggled. That was never LeBron. See, when you look at LeBron took that team to the finals, and then you get swept by San Antonio. But you saw what he did. Right. Everywhere he's been, teams have elevated. So you can't take that away from him, because he's 6'9", he's 260, because he could play inside and out, because he can be, you know, lethal in the open court, because he could step things up defensively, because of so many things that he brought to his arsenal, and how he would create mismatches, which I think is one of the things that he's done better than most. You look at him along with the 4 championships and what have you, and you say you can't take that away from him, because as bad as the Lakers were as they descended, right, in Kobe's final few years there, would that have ever happened with LeBron? The answer is no. With LeBron James, no team would have been as bad as the Lakers were at one point. So you take that into consideration as well.
Well, first off, everything sounds good when it's taken with no context, right? We can say things look good, but when we give more detail, we can peel back the layers and really explain why things are going the way they went, or things are going the way they're going now. And there's a lot more to it. So in the 2008 NBA playoffs, since we're talking about LeBron's, it's him being able to carry quote-unquote teams that aren't that great, and Kobe's team struggled. Let me just explain to you the conferences they played in. In 2008, the 8th seed in the West won 50 games. That 8th seed played Kobe and the Lakers. Do you know who played on that 8th seed? It was Allen Iverson and Carmelo Anthony. They won 50 games together. They were an 8th seed as a 50-win team in the Western Conference. So just to put that into context, right, I'm looking here. The 2008 NBA playoffs in the Eastern Conference, LeBron's Cavaliers finished with 45 wins, meaning if he played in the West, he wouldn't even made the playoffs. In the first round, Kobe plays AI and Melo. In the first round of 2008, AI and Melo, Kobe. What does LeBron play against? The Washington Wizards with gun enthusiast leading star Gilbert Arenas, who only won one playoff series in his whole NBA career. Now, that's just the 2008 NBA season. Let's rewind time, and let's just go back to the 2004 NBA season. Let's do that, for example. So this is LeBron's rookie year. His Cavaliers finished with a 35-game winning record, which means they just missed the playoffs as the 9th seed. Now, let's take a look at the West that year and see what that 35-win team would have landed LeBron's Cavs team, all right? So after looking at it, they would have been the 13th seed. And his buddy on the other conference, who should have won Rookie of the Year, he finished with 43 wins and got the 8th seed. But if the Nuggets were in the East, they would have finished with the 4th seed. That's how bad the East was. Carmelo Anthony's Nuggets team in his rookie year would have been the 4th seed in the NBA Eastern Conference.
As bad as the Lakers were as they descended, right, in Kobe's final few years there, would that have ever happened with LeBron? The answer is no.
But let's fast forward time into the Lakers era with LeBron, right? So we're going to compare the rebuilding Lakers late in Kobe's playing career, where he was on his last leg after tearing an Achilles, a fractured kneecap, and a torn rotator cuff, and a team full of a bunch of young boys, and compare that to LeBron's team he had, to big up your case as to why, just to big up your case as to why that wouldn't happen in LeBron's career towards the end of his career. Are we forgetting who the hell LeBron's playing with at the end of his career versus who Kobe was playing with at the end of his career? Let me know if these are comparable rosters, guys. We have the 2001 to 2022 NBA roster. This is the Lakers team that LeBron had and a couple seasons after he won a championship. So he had Anthony Davis on the roster. He had Russell Westbrook. He had Dwight Howard. He had Carmelo Anthony. He had Rajon Rondo. He had Malik Monk off the bench, as well as Avery Bradley and some other guys. And let's not also forget, when it comes to the West, LeBron's first season, he didn't make the playoffs in the West. So all this hoorah about how great he is on the East, going to 8 straight finals, he gets to the West and he doesn't even freaking make the playoffs. Until when? Another superstar comes on his team. His superstar, this was Anthony Davis. So just to put things into context now, LeBron went to 8 straight finals while he played on the Eastern Conference. 8 straight finals. And then he goes to the West and he hasn't made one finals appearance in a regular season format, not the bubble, a regular season format. He's went to the NBA Finals one time. He went to the Eastern Conference Finals and went to the NBA Finals 8 years in a row. You get to the tougher conference and we see what you can do. You've missed the playoffs twice since you've been with the Lakers. You've been swept. You've been gentlemen swept. I mean, let's not act like you're going and you're doing this amazing things when you're in the West. It's a tougher conference. To compare somebody who played in the East to somebody who played in the West, especially during the 2000s, where it was the toughest conference pretty much in NBA history, it's not fair. So Stephen A. Smith is a guy who acts like this is somewhat of a great, debate. I guess this is somewhat of a valid argument that he's bringing to the table. And the more you analyze what he said versus what actually happened in reality and the circumstances around it, comparing that Lakers team and the last few seasons of Kobe's career to the Lakers now with Anthony Davis and before that, Luka Doncic, and then before that, Anthony Davis and Dwight Howard and Russell Westbrook. Like, are we comparing that team to freaking Julius Randle and Larry Nance and freaking Wayne Ellington and those guys? Are you freaking serious? You're gonna use that as an argument to say the reason why you think it's better is because late in Kobe's career, his team wasn't great. His team was rebuilding. The Lakers aren't rebuilding. The Lakers are freaking capitalizing on the moment and just brought in the top 5 NBA player in Luka Doncic. How are you gonna compare somebody playing with Luka and AD to somebody who played with a bunch of rookies? There was no freaking stars on that team. There was no superstars, no all-NBA players. How are you comparing the two and to make an argument valid? That's a stupid argument, man. I'm just saying, I've heard better arguments from people who aren't as intelligent as Stephen A. Smith. And then you want to compare the freaking conferences, or not even the conferences. You just want to compare the fact that LeBron James is able to do, a lot with the teams that he played on, and Kobe struggled. Kobe only struggled because his teammates weren't as good during those seasons when Shaq left before he got Paul Gasol. He didn't have any superstars. He didn't have even an all-star as a teammate. LeBron had all-stars, Mo Williams, Zydrunas Ilgauskas, Antoine Jameson. He didn't have Kwame Brown and Smush Parker. That's not the same caliber of roster. Like, LeBron was able to be the number 1 seed in the whole NBA. I'm sorry, but for the people who think that you become the number 1 seed in the whole freaking NBA because your team is garbage, your team is not garbage if you're the number 1 seed. That team won 66 games in 2009. They were favored to beat Orlando. They lost. Let's not act like that team was trash. And I'm going to have the same argument when it comes to the 09 and 010 Lakers. When people be like, I get it. Andrew Bynum, Paul Gasol, Lamar Odom, they're not bums. They're not freaking superstars, but they're definitely not bums. But that was the same thing with the Cavs. Antoine Jameson, Ben Wallace and those guys, Zydrunas Ilgauskas, Mo Williams, Sasha Pavlovich, these dudes can shoot. They can shoot the ball. They can play defense. They ran the right plays. They weren't all freaking NBA All-Stars, but they were good enough to get the job done. Lamar Odom was never an All-Star. You know what I'm saying? He was a good role player. They had enough role players because you don't win 66 games in the NBA without a valid roster. So you can make the excuse because his teammates weren't good enough, but the problem was he wasn't good enough in that moment. And he even admitted it himself on the podcast with, I forget his name top of my head on ESPN, Pat McAfee. That's what he is. Pat McAfee even said it. I screwed up that 09 playoffs. So when we look back at 08, when he had a 2-1 lead against Boston, he stunk it up the joint. Like, you could bring up the game 7 of Kobe quiet quitting by not shooting the ball in the second half. Like, you can say what you want, but to make a valid argument and you're just simply trying to use tactics of how LeBron played in a weaker conference and he always had his team in the playoffs. Like, I don't care if he had his team in the playoffs. If the guy was so good, he wouldn't have lost 6 finals. He's not better. He's not a better basketball player than Kobe Bryant. He doesn't have anything that anything LeBron has. I don't see it as superior to Kobe. And that comes to everything when it comes to basketball. I'm talking skills. I'm talking footwork. I'm talking perimeter defense. I'm talking shooting ability. I'm talking post moves, skill set, mentality, toughness, being a champion, not running, not ducking smoke. Like, everything that you want from a basketball player, I believe that Kobe has, Jordan has, certain players have, Larry Bird has. And it's not the shit on LeBron. I like LeBron. It's just that when you want to make an argument, just come with something that has a little bit more like facts to it. Don't come with somebody who played in a weaker conference, and don't compare somebody's late career when they're in two different situations. Kobe was on his way out. LeBron was still playing actively and actually wanted to win and freaking gutted the whole roster to get Anthony Davis. That would be the equivalent of if Kobe traded Brandon Ingram and Julius Randle to get like an Anthony Davis at the time, or somebody that was like, in their prime. They didn't do that. The Lakers were literally rebuilding. They paid off Kobe. They gave him what he wanted because at the end of the day, he got them 5 rings in his career. That's 2 different scenarios. Why are we comparing it? Why? Because Stephen A. Smith sometimes, unfortunately, is a clown. I'm just being honest with you. But that's all I really got to say with today's video. My name is Tyler. This is Tyler Rose TV. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe. And I'm going to see you guys on the next video. Peace.